On Monday, the city of Buffalo, New York, will hold a moment of silence to mark 6 months since a mass shooting, an event many now refer to as 5/14. Recently, we returned to see how life has changed and what many believe still needs to be done in the city of good neighbors. How did you first find out?
Zaire called me.
My sister-in-law called us and said something had happened at Tops.
I had just dropped my son off at a track meet.
I was at a T-ball game in a park.
A mother, son, civil servant, and mayor. 4 of the many lives changed on 5/14, all now trying to create new change. What have the last 6 months been like for you?
Truthfully, hell. It's been hell on earth.
Zanetta Everhart's son Zaire started his first job at the Top supermarket on Jefferson Avenue less than a year earlier. Authorities say on May 14th, an 18-year-old who called himself an ethno-nationalist and supporter of white supremacy drove more than 3 hours from his home and began shooting.
This much. Up, down, left, or right. He wouldn't be here.
How do you explain that?
Divine intervention.
Zaire, shot through the neck, survived. 10 others did not, including Garnell Whitfield's 86-year-old mother, Ruth. Did it surprise you that this kid would come here specifically to target black people?
No. We know for a fact that racism and bigotry and white supremacy and all of those things they've always been here. I think that the only difference today, they've taken the hoods off. They used to wear hoods, they used to hide themselves. Now they're doing it out in the open.
How much has the neighborhood changed?
It's still the same, right? It's going to take time.
Tim Hogues is president of New York State's Civil Service Commission. He was driving by that day and arrived at the scene before police.
And I saw 3 bodies lying in the parking lot. I'll be honest, and Tops didn't do anything to me, but I haven't been able to go into the store since it's open, right?
Why?
I don't know.
The outreach began immediately. The area just a few blocks away that used to feature the Buffalo Bills Stadium in the 1950s and 60s was used to provide counseling and hand out food, with the neighborhood's only grocery store closed.
This whole strip, it was just the community coming together, and it reminded me of when I was a kid as far as the activity.
The old rock pile.
The old rock pile, right? That's significant. I'm glad you know that,
Of
right?
course.
And so this was a bustling area. The Bills used to have some great games here.
The 4 people we spoke with are convinced 5/14 should be used as a lens to examine broader issues. Byron Brown is Buffalo's longest-serving and first black mayor.
We want to make sure that Buffalo is remembered so that we can prevent this from happening in other places in the country.
Zanetta Everhart has launched Zanetta and Zaire's Book Club that so far has received more than 15,000 donations. What difference do you hope the book project makes?
It's very simple. Education. Education is key to solving the problem of racism. Because kids, we're not born hating other cultures and other people. It's taught to us. And so if children are taught that black people are just like them and they have lives just like them, and we start at a very young age, you will eradicate racism. I believe that, 100%.
Whitfield is the city's former fire commissioner, who says he's newly committed to a different kind of service.
Before May 14th, I'm part of the problem. I'm not advocating. I'm not speaking out publicly or otherwise. You know, I see this going on in my community and in my country every day. I'm empathetic, but I'm not doing anything. So I'm part of the problem too. Because it happened to me, now I'm involved.
Can't imagine what it's like going back into that store as an employee.
Tops was good to completely remodel the store, so it looks different. It does not look like the same place.
The totally redesigned supermarket was able to reopen just a little over 2 months following 5/14. And today, nearly $6.5 million from a survivors fund has been distributed. The question for these four is, what's next?
We want to build a stronger community.
There's an unprecedented opportunity to do something about these injustices.
It's going to take a lot of money, and it has to go into the right places, too.
I think the thing that was brought out is that the east side of Buffalo, or East Buffalo, really needs attention. For an individual outside of this community to be able to target a store and say, hey, I know that this is heavily populated by people of color and only people of color, that's a problem.
Plans for a permanent memorial are in the works right now in Buffalo, and that Survivors Fund has sent out money to more than 160 people so far.
Incredible piece.
Powerful.
Good timing.